Road planting came up 2 months ago. Does this council consider screening Guppy Road more important than the threat of catastrophic climate change?
No. Yeah. It's been on the book for a while, but there's a difference between a planting plan and a full singing, dancing climate change report, Councillor Gilbertson, as I'm sure you would appreciate.
I don't see that, Mr. Chairman, but I take your opinion.
Thank you. Any other questions? Someone happy to move the report? Councillor Gilbertson, Councillor Scott, put that motion. Oh, sorry. Well, there's. Well, you can speak now. The motion is we accept the. To include.
To basically to flesh out item on. Well, it doesn't have it. It's item 5. That third item from under 31st of July.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Hang on, I just need to read that.
But that's the point of order I'm raising. I can't read it.
Can it be made bigger?
Yeah. It's about to be. Is someone seconding that amendment? So you okay? Moved and seconded.
Mr. Chairman, this is not updating that it is an action item. This is simply fleshing it out. At the moment, the action item says November the 13th for the report, and the business match will say.
Just so I'm clear, so the action item on work program associated with alternative methods managing irrigation water, you'd like it that detailed. Is that what I'm hearing? Including that detail.
And that's simply helping Mr. Maxwell's report to come back, and Councillor Curtin's already indicated it will come into the decision-making part of Council at that point. And that's what we're down to saying whether that's yes or no.
Just, Mr. Maxwell, that would be covered anyway in that report?
Yes, it would,
Okay.
but not limited to that, obviously.
Not limited to that. Councillor Curtin?
Well, Mr. Chairman, my concern is the way in which we're transacting this. To me, we open ourselves up to ambush of any action item if we go down this road. I don't have any great difficulty with, if you like, including some of the concepts in there, but I haven't had a chance to read that. I can't read it because I'm so elderly. And I don't know what the implications are of that. I don't know whether Mr Maxwell's had the opportunity or Ms Lambert's had the opportunity to consider and prioritise the level of work involved. But my concern is at the long distance I am, it seems like a lot of work that hasn't been planned as a part of that report.
I think that the key, just talking to Ms Lambert there, the key here is a ratcheting of priority, Councillor Douglas. Am I correct in that? And these issues need to be covered because we're heading into the season right now.
Absolutely. At the moment it says November. This is saying come early to the next meeting. I'm not taking the right to reply, but I can say I've discussed it with staff earlier this week. So none of that is a surprise to staff, and I discussed it with Mr Maxwell by phone when he was in Wellington, and Ms Lambert's seen it in writing prior to this. So none of it's a surprise. And while I accept Councillor Curtin's caution that this shouldn't happen, and I can assure you I don't like doing it in a general sense, I don't think we are limited not to do it, if I can put it that way. I've just had a look at the standing orders. It doesn't stop us doing this because it is not causing a decision.
Any other speakers? Councillor Dick.
I don't see anything too much wrong with the process, although it does have the similar implications to notices of motion being tendered and discussed rather than referred on. But maybe to handle that, I know it's a significant issue currently. Could I suggest that you let that matter lie on the table and have that paper printed and circulated in the morning tea time so that people can read it properly?
There's a level of comfort in that, yeah. Thank you, Councillor. That's a good outcome. So we'll do that. So we'll come back to this matter. Thank you. Okay, let's move on then to item 7, which is Mr Mohi, Maori Committee, and councillors and others. You'll see there is a slight change here we have a verbal update, but then we try to tie in a recommendation from the Maori Committee at the same time. So, okay. So, Mr Mohi.
Yes, so yesterday was the final official meeting for the Maori Committee, and they gave special thanks to Councillors Gilbertson, McGregor and Remmerswell for being part of the committee for the last 3 years, and also to Councillor Scott that deputised a number of times and, or as she did yesterday, stood in for Ahuriri. I'd just like to say that yesterday none of the Ahuriri candidates, delegates, were able to come because they were all part of the large natural groupings, and they had an important meeting with the Office of Treaty Settlements in Napier. So that was the reason why they didn't come. The main, one of the things of particular interest yesterday was a verbal update on the coastal water. Those of you may or may not know, there's apparently a Pākehā buoy that's stationed out in the bay, giving back information to the scientists here, and there was also some slideshows of radar pictures of the whole bay, and it was extremely illuminating, if you'll excuse the pun. Just in terms of the recommendation, it just councillors may or may not be aware that with the large natural groupings, as those settlements are being settled, come to pass, that the state of the tai whenua could morph into different organisations. So that may or may not, you may or may not be aware of that. The paper that came yesterday, the strategic plan, the 3 tai whenua that were involved yesterday considered that paper should come to the each of the tai whenua, and I discussed this before and after the meeting with Ahuriri, should come to all the tai whenua for discussion. And there was a little bit of a concern that there had been no consultation on that basis, that the paper indeed had just come to before the Maori Committee. But there was also discussion that perhaps the large natural groupings should individually receive the plan and also as a committee. So I'm just wondering, Madam CEO, if indeed it's possible to put in the recommendation, in the last line there, amongst Tai Whenua and the large natural grouping. Is that possible? Yeah, if I'd like to move that amendment. Pardon? I can't. No. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Someone else can. Well, you need to move it, Councillor Scott.
Well, I was going to say, with the agreement, that we just add that rather than an amendment.
Okay.
Because it's just clarification, it's not.
Sure. I have a question though. So am I reading this that Ngāti Kahungunu Iwi Incorporated have come out with a proposal that they haven't consulted on with their people?
That was the general feeling from the delegates.
Seems rather ironic, doesn't it?
Rather not comment on that comment.
No, fair enough. Any other questions?
So this is just seen as ongoing need for consultation by Ngāti Kahungunu as I won't say parent body. What's another word? As an interested party.
Mr. Chairman, I just realised, of course, we're in the council, so I will move.
You need to move it.
Recommendation of the chairman of the Maori Committee.
And
With the wording that-
you happy to second, Councillor? Just, do you wish to speak then? Oh, sorry, before we go there, any other matters to report from the meeting?
And the Māori Committee are aware that next year the new committee will discuss the possibility of the Māori Committee being involved as council business or being dispersed. They did, as they have offered in the past, and have said that they thought that the standing committee, the Regional Planning Committee, has a different set of agenda. So I don't want to go on too much about that. That some could say we're trying to feather our own nest. However, that was discussed yesterday and will be in the hands of the new committee anyway. Council, sorry.
Thank you. Is the mover of the motion wish to speak? Oh, you have another question,
clarify.
Councillor?
I brought up yesterday about having, because the Maori Committee sort of finished yesterday, and there's a hiatus between, now and the new one. I know what we've done in the past is that we have given that committee the power to carry on until the new one is constituted properly. So just wondering if we could do that this time as well, so there's not that gap.
I'm not aware of any precedents for the council resolving to continue any committees on through the election period, other than those where there is a resource management plan hearing involved, or a resource consent hearing that's underway and not going to be finished by the election date. So there is a process in place. I mean, with the Māori Committee, as with the other committees of council, they deal with the business of council, and for that duration there will not be any. So there doesn't seem to be any rationale for having that carry on.
Yes, just in that regard, the Māori Committee will meet informally to get the new candidates, which are elected as are the council laws. So they will be organised themselves, in a private capacity.
Wish to speak?
No, Mr. Chairman, and then I speak. Sorry, that's a contradiction. This reflected the input and the resolution from the Maori Committee and the concern around the role of the large natural groups. So I'm very pleased to see that wording has been added in there.
Mr. Chairman, just a couple of points. Firstly, because it's sort of violin time, approaching violin time, so I just want to pay a tribute to Mr Mohi's chairmanship of that committee over the last 3 years. Done a great job, and it's been a pretty good committee. Second thing is the under the biculturalism, having a Pākehā boy out there. We obviously should have a Maori boy out there as well, just to even things up. But no, it was a good meeting yesterday, and it went well. But again, I say thanks to Mr Mohi, as you'd expect from someone from Central Hawke's Bay to run a good committee and be smart and wise. But he has done a good job, and I've really enjoyed being on that committee, and we've got some good stuff done. So it was another good day yesterday.
Thank you. I'd also like to add a vote of thanks to Mr Mohi. It's been a trying time at times, that committee. There's been some reasonably delicate discussions and negotiations that have gone on, and it's been well chaired with more than just a dash of humour at times, and does tend to get those pointy issues resolved. In regard to this Kahanunu ki uta Kahanunu ki tai marine and freshwater fishery strategic plan, these are complex issues to deal with around water, and I'm pleased to say that the Regional Council can help Ngāti Kahanunu with consultation around these issues, and I'm more than happy to support this recommendation, because some of this consultation is challenging and does take further work to get to a happy place, if you like. So I am pleased to think that the council can help in this instance. Any other speakers? Put the motion, and all those in favour please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. Thank you. Thank you, Mr Mohi. Right. Decision.